this video I'm gonna show you two techniques which I used to obtain this pizza in teglia alla romana 70% hydration with a great gluten structure, as you can see in the video. You can use these tips for basically any pizza, especially the high hydration one. So we start with the first tips, which is making the autolysis, which is basically mixing the flour and 60% of the water for a few minutes until everything is combined together. Once it's combined, I'm gonna let this dough rest in the fridge for 1 hour, and this is gonna help us incorporate the rest of the water later on, and this resting time it creates structure in the initial dough. Once resting, I add the yeast and the water little by little, and when I see the machine clean, the bottom of the machine clean, I add again a bit of water. And speaking of water, the second method I like to use is to use part of this water as ice. So in this case, I used 20% of the total water in ice. This helps a lot reducing the temperature of the dough, which is gonna rise because of mechanical tension. And if we can keep the dough colder, we can go faster with the machine and create a better gluten structure. Remember to add the salt once you already have a bit of structure, usually almost at the end of the process when you just missing few grams of water. And for the oil, add it in 2 times, especially if the percentage of it's 5% or above, so it's easier for your dough to incorporate it. As you can see, since the start of the process after the autolysis, I didn't let rest the dough once because it was cold, and with the ice the temperature didn't raise much. Once the dough was done, I let it rest in the fridge for 15 minutes, and as you can see, the structure which I obtained was incredible. And now I just finished the process by hand. I'm gonna fold it a few times and let it rest once again for 10 to 15 minutes. And as you can see, to be a 70% hydration, it doesn't stick to my hand at all. And this, once again, was thanks to the autolysis, which helps incorporated the water nicely. Now for one last fold, again by hand, not too much, just to make it even stronger. And then I'm gonna let it rest my dough in a plastic container with a little bit of oil for around 12 hours. And I'm gonna put it directly in the fridge. Why directly in the fridge? Because the last fold was resting already outside the fridge, so I have the temperature I wanted. After 12 hours, I'm gonna use a tray which I usually use for focaccia. I put a little bit of flour and let it drop the dough in it. Gravity is gonna do the work for us. And I'm gonna start folding the dough on itself until all the border touch each other and the dough gets a nice and solid structure. You can literally feel it with your hand, which the dough is tighter and stronger. Once I do that, I just finish it by folding in half, and from the half I'm gonna touch the bottom, as you can see in the video. And I'm gonna show you a second method for sake of education. You can fold tightly all the bottom, as you can see here, and you're gonna obtain the same result. Do as you prefer. As you can see, it's nice and tight, it keeps this air, and once it's done, I put it back in the plastic container with a little bit of oil, and I'm gonna let it ferment for 12 more hours in the fridge at around 4 degrees. Remove it from the fridge 1 hour before cooking it so the dough can rise the temperature, and it's gonna be easier to manipulate it with your hand. Put a nice amount of oil on a tray so it's not gonna stick to it, and then put the dough on the working station and start pressing it, giving it the form you want. You don't need the border for the pizza alla romana, so just pressing it. To be honest, I probably press it a little bit too much. I remove too much air from it, but if you don't make mistakes, you don't learn. Will be for the next time. Remember, the final adjustment, you're gonna make it on the tray, so don't stress out if your dough doesn't have the perfect shape. We are gonna do it right now on the tray. As you can see, I put it in, and I stretch with one end to the border, and I press the corner because we don't need the corner in the romana in teglia. Once our dough it's all nice distributed in the tray, try to be as uniform as possible. You can add your condiment. I decide to making a pre-cooking with tomatoes and olive oil in my Effeuno oven at 300 degrees bottom and 300 degrees on top. And once again, go hardcore with the tomatoes. We don't need white part. It's a pizza in teglia, so be generous. Use a nice olive oil, not the shitty one, and bring it in the oven for around 8 minutes, or until you start seeing the first black bubble. As you can see, the first cooking it's done, and as you can see the bottom of it, it's perfectly cooked and it didn't stick to the tray. And now I'm gonna season it with a little bit of salami, ricotta, some mozzarella, and I'm gonna cook it for the last time until the mozzarella is nice and melted. As you can see, it's done, cooked. I finish with some fresh basil, extra salami, extra ricotta, and here you have it. Hope you like it. Let me know if you ever tried a pizza like this. Let me know if you have any question, and if you want to learn how to make an even simpler pizza by hand, look to this next video you see on the screen. Thank you, all the best, see you next time.